Welcome to our first OTA Recap Show of 2025 here on a humid, overcast day in Woodland Hills. Good to see the Rams back on the grass. Let me introduce a man who has 3 games with a pick and a sack, Cobie Durant, 27 years of age, and another man with multiple games of a pick and a sack, Super Bowl champion D'Marco Farr.
I got 3 sacks. I'm very happy about that.
I'm JB with no picks, no sacks, no games, but it is a pleasure to be here with you at the outset of year 4, Cobie.
Yes,
Good
sir.
to see you.
Thank y'all for having me.
Can you believe it's year 4?
Went by fast. They
Did
told
it?
me my rookie year. Jalen them told me my rookie year is going to go by fast. So, yeah.
And it did, right?
Nah,
A blink and here you are.
Blinking. It's year 4.
Did you have that moment like where the game kind of slowed down for you? Because when you first get in, it's like, I'm in the league. Everybody's big. It's fast. Wow, here I am. Did you have a moment where you felt the game like slow down? I can do this. I know how to do this. I can be great at this.
Yeah. I'll probably say towards the end of, the beginning of my 3rd year, everything slowed down. Like, 2nd year, all right, it's slowing down. 3rd year, all right, it's slowed down. Now, I'm like, all right, it's slowed completely down. I'm learning more about when they break in the huddle, the concepts, understanding. Like, I understand a lot more. Like, they breaking out from the huddle, all right, I can go ahead and start eliminating things now. Like, so it's great.
You've probably seen everything at
like,
least twice now. I know how to play this.
Yeah. Right. So, yeah, it just put myself in a position, trusting my technique, trusting, the coaches, to put me in the right position, through our practice individual preparing us when we go on team settings. So.
Tell us about your time away from the facility. What was the most fun you had this offseason, and how did you prepare for your best campaign yet?
I'll say I went deep sea fishing the other day. Maybe like 2 weeks ago in Santa Barbara.
Nice. Catch anything?
Yeah, I caught fish that I didn't even know was in the ocean. I'm going to tell you this. Whatever in that ocean, you don't even know what's down there. I'm going to tell you that. You don't know what's down there.
Can you describe what the fish look like? Like one you pulled out, like what is this?
I guess like it was like, the altitude that's so far down.
Yeah.
So like when you pull them up, their eyes already like bust out their head. So like it was crazy looking at that. And then a guy that I met at a restaurant, his name is David, Mr. David, right? So we was at the restaurant and whatnot. And I'm like, we talking. I didn't want to, like, really tell him who I was. I'm just trying to be low-key. So then we get to talking and stuff. Then I was like, he was like, so what brings you, like, here? And I told him what, and I ended up telling him. So then he was like, man. Then I started talking about fishing. Because he looked like a fishing guy. I'm like, all right. So I tell him about my little fishing stories, and he tell me. So then we had finally got a chance to, like, go out on the water. We went on a charter in Santa Barbara. So, that was a great experience, like just to being out there on the ocean, and just seeing like the different kinds of fish that was down there, and like people who was catching. It was good.
They didn't see the land shark coming.
Nah, they didn't. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I wish I could have. That's really on my list. Thing on my bucket list. I want to do cage diving with sharks.
No, you don't. No. Why would you want to be down there with a shark?
I just want to try it.
You play corner in the National Football League.
It can only be for 30 seconds. I just want to see them.
Don't you think that's challenging enough? You want to be down there with a predator?
In life, you got to take risks.
How about step in front of one and pick it off and run it back for a touchdown? How about that? Leave the sharks alone.
All right.
There you go.
Okay, we can do that.
Like Christmas at SoFi.
There you go. Yes, sir.
So about today's first workout, it was cool for me to see a lot of the rookies for the first time in person, to see Davante Adams in Rams colors. If I'm correct, you didn't play against him last year, right, in New York?
No, I did not.
You didn't go that game. So what's it been like, kind of having a perception of who he is and his reputation from afar, and now being in the same building with him?
Just watching from afar how his approach to the game. A veteran, great guy. Willing to we know that we're going against each other. Like if I ask him something, like he's going to tell me like, look, this is what I see when I'm at receiver. So whenever you're doing this and I do this, so it kind of like helps both ways, offense and defense. So just him being here is a huge weapon for us.
And it's, one of the best one-on-one guys in the league. That's got to help you. If you can cover this guy up in practice,
right?
Yeah, and game day, it's going to be easy on Sundays.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely going to help. I see how your demeanor changed when he said Davante Adams. Yeah, get serious in practice.
Yeah.
Don't you love that competition, though?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm glad he's here. Puka should have been here today, too.
Jordan Whittington had a nice day in his absence. I want to talk about like the difference between the outside view of the Rams and what's going on here at the facility. And I think that's more true at corner than probably any other position group. I think a lot of people expected the Rams to invest in defensive back in this draft. They didn't. Did you take that as a vote of confidence, Cobie, in the group that you bring back in 25?
I felt like they believed in us, just coming off the season that we had last year. I remember starting year 2, basically like the same guys that we got here, minus the rookies that came in last year.
Mm-hmm.
And D. Will, we were a bunch of no-names. And, that kind of like, stuck with us, the guys that was here. So we actually was talking about that yesterday, telling them that, it was a bunch of no names that they had on the list. We was 31 out of 31 on the, NFL teams. Like it was something like that. So it's just, I appreciate everything that's, going on right now. And everybody's competing at an all-time high, man. Even in the meeting rooms, competing. Just coaches challenging us, asking us questions like out of the blue, just like, hey, what's this? What we do right here? And it's all good.
Yeah, surprise! Your no names. You have names now.
Right.
Now they know who you are.
Exactly.
I'm completely distracted by your shoes, by the way. What is up with the red shoes? I'm just curious.
I just ain't got them painted yet. I'm
Oh.
gonna get them painted soon.
Okay, I just can't help but
I don't
look
know
down.
if you read that
Yeah.
article that Wyatt wrote about your fashion pursuits, though. And
Yeah.
there was a Jordan for every game last year?
Yeah, so each game, that's what number Jordan that I have. So long story short, when I was younger, I always been into sneakers. Always was getting sneakers, but I always told myself, when I got to the NFL, I'm gonna buy every Jordan 1 through 20. Like, don't matter like what color, I'm gonna just buy them. So, and that's what I've been doing. So,
What size shoe you wear? Yeah, let me grab a few of those. How does this defense take a step forward? And how do you deal with – it's easy when you're doubted as an athlete. Tell a guy you can't do it or you're a no-name, he can prove you wrong. What about when everybody's patting you on the back? What about when everybody says you're one of the best teams in the NFL? How do you draw motivation from that?
you can't. It's good to have that praise, but for me personally, I don't try to like build up on that praise because there's always room to get better. Like just because somebody's like always praising you and things, you always still have things to work on to improve. So each and every day we come out here, even though we can have an A+ practice, but tomorrow won't be no A+ practice. Like it's not always going to be good. So it's just about stacking those days brick by brick and just coming in and holding yourself accountable. Each player holding themselves accountable, and we all hold each other accountable from players to coaches, coaches to players.
To that point, it's a smaller rookie class this season, but
Yeah.
if you were to rewind time, what advice would you give for the group of 2025 in terms of the pathway from now to making a roster in the National Football League?
You have to prepare yourself. You have to prepare yourself like you're starting on Sunday. So whenever your name is called, because injuries will happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be ready. Whenever somebody goes down and it's finally your turn, it shouldn't be no decline in the play. Everything should escalate or just stays the same. But it shouldn't be no decline in the play.
I remember that first month you were on the job. I don't think you had repped much on defense before the Falcons game. The
Right.
next thing you know, you're on Mariota.
Preparing yourself. And that's something that I just always had in my mind. When I got to the NFL from day one, when I got my playbook, I was like, I'm going to prepare myself, knowing that I'm not going to be a day one starter, but I'm preparing myself like a day one starter. So Sean be like, hey, we need you to go out there for Troy Hill. Troy went down. I went out there picking a sack. And then just, trust. And the other guys that's out there trusted me to be out there as a rookie. So.
What about that transition, going from young guy looking up to veteran teaching youngsters coming in? How's that been for you?
It's been great. Just really, living off from picking it up from Jalen and Troy Hill. They took me under their wing when I got here. So now when it was my turn, like Charles Woods, Cam Lampkin, those guys, Cam Kitchens, all those guys, man. I just, spend time with them, always telling them, like, look, you got to be ready because you never know. And Cam Kitchens, Tank, all those getting that opportunity, 4 picks, 3 picks. Like, that's what I put in their head. Like, look, you never know how this is going to go. Injury's going to happen. Something's going to happen. You have to be ready. Like, you have to be ready because when they call your name and them bright lights, you under them bright lights, this ain't college.
Say it to the camera.
Yeah. For real, this ain't college at all. I'm telling you.
We're here at Woodland Hills today. We're going to wrap up the offseason program in Maui. Now, I remember when you came to the Rams, you'd not been to California, right? So is it fair to assume you've never been to the islands? Will this be the first trip?
Never been.
Can't wait to see what kind of fish you catch out there.
I hope I can go fishing. I hope I can go fishing out there.
Maui
That'll be a little something right there.
How about fishing for footballs? How about that?
Hey.
Yeah. How about that?
That's cool, too.
I like that, too. Yeah.
That's cool, too.
Make eyes pop out of their heads. Yeah, there you go.
Keep reeling them in.
Yes, sir.
All right, for Cobie Durant and D'Marco Farr, I'm JB Long. Hey, if you're local, if you're a season ticket member, we're looking forward to seeing you at YouTube Theater tomorrow night for Rams Revealed Live. D'Marco, I will see you then as well. Cobie, keep having a great offseason program.